In a world crying out for a top 10 show, John Roca and Matt Nost are here to bring you the top 10. Take it away, boys.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Topic Thunder. Here from the Top 10 Show, I am John Roca.
And I am Matt Nost. We are excited here to have another week of Topic Thunder. We thoroughly enjoyed everybody that participates in the show. And if you want to, you can go to patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. And you can you can find the email there, and you just send in whatever you'd like us to talk about. We do it, and we put it out for everybody to listen to. And our thanks to everybody that supports us over at patreon.com, because it means the world to us. And we hope we're giving you a little solace in your day, enjoying the show, and having a little fun with the two of us.
Absolutely. Echo everything Matt said. Thank you for letting us entertain you during these tough times right now. And we know, the coronavirus sounds like it's spiking up again, and second waves happening in these states as they start to open up too quickly. So hopefully for those of you who are back to self-isolating or self-quarantine, you're taking us along with you to kind of make you smile and take your mind off all this stuff. And certainly we'll spend some time on this Topic Thunder, having a good time with your questions, and hopefully that will do it as well. All right. You started last time. I think I take this time, right?
Correct.
All right. This first one is from Colson Kouliopoulos. I hope I said that right. Kouliopoulos. I hope I got it right there, Colson. Hey, Matt and John, greetings from Boston. Wow. Big fan of you guys since the Collider days, and recently became a patron when you brought up the whole Top 10 Jeopardy thing. Nice. I'm a huge Oscars fan / follower, and was wondering, if you could change any decisions the Oscars made last year in any category, what would it be and what would you change it to? Personally, I was happy with the Parasite sweep, but thought the best live-action short film winner, The Neighbor's Window, was absolute trash, and would have much rather seen Brotherhood or A Sister take home the win. Also, Klaus. Klaus was awesome. Much better movie than Toy Story 4. All right, Matt, any thoughts on this one? Let's take a look at these results.
These are not. Yeah, we have to look it up in any category. Look it up.
Let's see. For actor, it was Joaquin Phoenix for the Joker over Jonathan Pryce, Adam Driver, DiCaprio, Banderas. Pitt won for Once Upon a Time over Pesci, Pacino, Hopkins, and Tom Hanks. Zellweger won over Charlize, Saoirse Ronan, Scarlett Johansson, Cynthia Erivo, and Harriet. Laura Dern over Richard Jewell. Over Kathy Bates, over Scarlett Johansson in JoJo, over Florence Pugh in Little Women, over Margot Robbie in Bombshell. Toy Story 4 did win over Klaus, over How to Train Your Dragon. Deakins won for cinematography. And Parasite, Bong Joon-ho won. All right, Matt, are there any ones that you, as you look at the list?
I mean, there are no big egregious ones to me.
Right.
Because you can make a case for all the various winners, like Parasite winning for Best Picture. Sure. If 1918 had won, that's fine with me. Once Upon a Time, I think, is had the best shot of what was left, but didn't really have a shot. It was down to those two.
Yeah.
Joker just made too much money to be denied, type of thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's an excellent movie, but a lot of people did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing like super, super egregious. The animated, it wasn't a tough year, because I think Story 4 is good, but I don't think it's great.
Yeah. Klaus is damn good. I agree with the person who sent in the question, Colson. I agree, Colson. I thought I would have taken Klaus over Toy Story 4, but isn't the one I think if I was going to change anyone, and I know people might get mad at me for saying this, but I would absolutely take 1917 over Parasite. As much as I enjoy Parasite, and we watched it again with my girlfriend a few weeks ago, it's a damn good movie. But 1917 is a cinematic achievement. And for me, when I watch that, I've seen that movie 3 times now. I have it up here behind me in the longer shot. But like, it is my film. It is absolutely a film that speaks my language. It's well acted. It's a hell of a journey. And it's well shot by Deakins as well. And Sam Mendes doing a fantastic job with the film overall. I thought for sure that was going to win Best Picture, and Bong Joon-ho would get Best Director. I did not anticipate necessarily that Parasite would win this thing overall. So if I was going to change anything, and I wouldn't want to change it necessarily, but if I was going to change anything, that would be my answer, 1917.
Okay. I thought within the supporting actress, I thought Laura Dern's performance in a Marriage Story was, I wasn't, that's so good. That's the best actress, like easy peasy type of.
Totally agree with you, man. I totally agree with you. I don't understand.
That was the odds-on favorite. I was like, really? She's, she gets outshone rightfully, but she gets outshone by Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver.
Yeah, she only has two really notable scenes, right? The scene around the table in the office, and then when she's sitting on the couch with Scarlett. But all she's trying to do is essentially seduce Scarlett as her client to get her to be her client. All the great lawyers know how to seduce different people to get them to pay money to have them represent you. And what she did in the conference room is helped by the fact that Adam Driver is completely bowled over by her, and so is Alan Alda. Like, both those guys immediately go into acquiesce mode. And if Ray Liotta was in there, it would have been fun to see the back and forth a little more with those two, because Lady Liotta seemed to come across a little more abrasive. But yeah, I would have given it to Johansson over her and JoJo, or maybe Kathy Bates even in Richard Jewell. I thought she was fantastic in Richard Jewell.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not. There are certain years where, like, I literally can't believe that one.
Right.
X.
Yeah.
And Laura Dern's the only one where I was like, okay, sure, I guess I'm not. Maybe I don't understand what I'm missing. Where that's the best of the year, but okay. I mean, she's a great actress. I am not knocking.
Right.
That part wasn't so meaty for a supporting actress that it blew me away. But anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's it for that one.
Okay. What's our next one?
Thank you, Colson, and we hope you enjoyed Top 10 Jeopardy. We still don't have as of right now, but we will have something very soon.
Yeah.
The next one is from Brandon Caridi. It said, Pat and John, you've both alluded to music you enjoy and, parenthetically, to Offspring fans' dismay, very much dislike. I got tagged in something on Facebook about that. You often talk about music you grew up with and bands that have influenced and shaped your favorite genres and general music taste. However, I'm curious as to your preferences on modern bands and artists. What artists from the last 20 years have you enjoyed listening to and are your favorites? I myself am a huge fan of The Strokes in the overall garage rock revival genre. Interpol, Arctic Monkeys, Vampire Weekend, LCD Sound System, among others. The Strokes' penchant for guitar lines that weave in and out of each song along their Lou Reed-style vocal deliveries are what make them so exceptional for me. If you haven't listened to music much, give them a shot. Thank you very much for taking my question, and thank you for some of the best content available during these strange times. Stay safe and sane so you can come out to Pittsburgh and do a live show. Sincerely, Brandon Caridi. P.S. You're both right. Sea Change is Beck's best album.
Yeah.
Why would 10 years would be a more modern, you know what I mean? 20 years ago, it's like post-grunge. What in the last 10 years have you gotten into? Because the older we get, the more we get set in our ways.
Yeah, man, it's tough. I mean, I'm still a Kanye guy. I still like Kanye's shit over the last 10 years. Even his weird release albums that he does, like the P.D. Pablo one or whatever, I really enjoyed that one. I don't know if there are that many new artists that I would definitely turn to. There are a bunch of new music, I mean, this might be embarrassing to some people. I certainly enjoy some of the James Arthur stuff. I do like some of the Demi Lovato stuff. Certainly EDM mixture with singers, that is kind of my jam right now. Any of that, like Bieber had a few songs that shocked the shit out of me. I enjoyed like 4 or 5 songs of his, but he was working with the Chainsmokers and other bands like that. So that's where I lean to more. I don't necessarily go towards the rock route much anymore. It's more about the electronic dance shit or the EDM stuff that really kind of has my attention more than like Skrillex or Danger Mouse or some of the other more recent ones that I've enjoyed. Calvin Harris So
You
that's
mean Dead
more-
Mouse?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Dead Mouse. Yeah, that's what it's called. Dead Mouse. Sorry. Yeah. But yeah, those are the ones that I lean to more than anything else. What about you, Matt?
Like in the last, say, 10 years,
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar,
Yeah, sure.
How to Pimp a Butterfly and Damn are both excellent.
Yeah, Damn is good.
I'm a big Talib Kweli and MF Doom fan, but
Okay.
they're probably a little bit past 10 years.
Right.
Let's see. Arcade Fire, TV on the Radio,
Okay.
Arctic Monkeys, Bon Iver,
Mm-hmm.
Royal Blood, or Royal Bloods, I can never remember.
Okay.
I think those are all bands within the last 10 years or so.
I'll take Drake. I'll put Drake in the conversation.
Never been a Drake fan.
Yeah, not your thing?
I mean, I like certain tracks. I get why people like, but I never listen to an album. It just never happens.
Fair. On the countryside, like Thomas Rhett is someone I enjoy now. Lady A now. They changed their name from Lady Antebellum to Lady A. Katy Perry. I mean, fuck, man. I hate to admit, I'm a massive Katy Perry fan. I get so much shit. Huh?
Yeah. You're listening to the electronic and whatnot.
Yeah.
A lot of pop music has that synthesized feeling to it now. So of course you're going to like Katy Perry.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily a Taylor person, although I do concede that there are some songs that are good. But I mean, for me, it's more the Katy Perry situation. It works for me overall, much to my girlfriend's chagrin.
I mean, Taylor Swift's 1980, whatever it was, 1988.
Yeah,
whatever it was. That was actually a pretty good album. But I don't do it a couple times. It's not something I go back to, but listen to it. It's like, this is catchy, this is good, it's interesting. But it's more, and there's no real country anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, there isn't really. Not the old school country. It's rare. I mean, I guess if you go Chris Brown, who is that his name? Chris.
Who did the cover of Tennessee Whiskey? Heavyset guy who plays guitar?
Yeah. Is that Chris Stapleton? I think that's Chris Stapleton.
That's awesome. I listened to that album, but that cover is absolutely fantastic.
Tennessee Whiskey, is that what you said? Yeah, Chris Stapleton. That's who it is. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of too. Yeah, that guy, not Chris Brown, Chris Stapleton. Yeah, he's good when it comes to the country stuff. Colby Calais, I like her. That's sweet little music, throwaway music.
Frank Ocean's pretty good.
Yeah, Ocean. A lot of people like Ocean. That's for damn sure. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and I am a big fan. They predate that 10, but their new album is really fucking good.
Yeah.
They've got 4 albums now that I can listen to forwards and back, and actually probably do it twice because the songs are so short.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. There's so much music now getting put out.
Yeah, there is.
There's all like the Chance the Rapper, which I haven't listened to all that much of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right.
Put out label albums, just puts out his own mixtapes.
People like Chance, yeah.
Yeah. I like what I've heard, but I've never gone to listen to an album. I just don't listen to as much. The hip hop and rap that I listen to is the stuff that I've been listening to now for 30 years.
Yeah.
What I accumulated over the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, pretty much. And then the occasional album here and there, like Kanye's film. Now there's numerous within there.
Yeah.
Twisted Fantasy is that 808s are my 2 favorites of his. That's past 10 years.
Yeah. I like Bruno Mars. I enjoy him.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm looking at a list of just artists over the last few years, just thinking of like people that we haven't mentioned yet or that I'm like huge into. But there's not much past.
Florence and the Machine. I like their debut album.
Sure. Yeah. That's good stuff.
I don't know. There's a lot of fucking music.
Yeah, we're just old too, for God's sakes. Like you said, we're set in our ways. So I appreciate it, Brandon. It's a very nice question, and we tried. So hopefully we satisfied you in some way.
I mean, we gave you a ton of choices.
We did. That's for damn sure.
I mean, a bunch of them. Your turn.
Yeah, all right. Ruben Enriquez is our next one. He says, hello, Matt and John. Hope you all are safe out there. My question is basketball related. Boom, boom, boom. Is there an NBA player, last or present, that you feel could have had a better career if they were drafted in a different situation or different team? Thank you guys for taking my question. Hope you all have a great day. So past or present is what he's saying. Past or present. Sorry.
Yeah,
is there an NBA player, past or present, you could feel could have a better career? Okay.
It definitely makes a difference as to where you get drafted for, a bunch of different specific guys.
I think in any sport, it makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. But, your prime for a lot of guys is very short in this world, unless you are a super, super duper star. And usually those super, super dupers are in a good situation, or they got themselves into a good situation. That's how they ascended to that type of rank. Type of thing.
Yeah.
So who is just I wish Carmelo hadn't forced himself onto the Knicks when he did, thereby making them sacrifice all those assets to get him from Denver, because he wanted to be able to sign the max extension with the Knicks because he wanted to get paid. And there's nothing wrong with that. But had he just signed there with free agent in free agency a year later, he would have taken less money, but they would have had the ability to surround you and make you into a contender, because that dude has all the talent in the world. Not that great on defense, but pure scorer. It's impressive to watch, even if, in his heyday, it was a lot of ISO jab stepping, but he's still insanely effective at it. That's a situation like, oh man, had you not done that.
Yeah.
Or somebody like Curry, if he was drafted 10 years earlier by the Warriors, he would have had a 5-6 year career because they couldn't have fixed his ankles. So he's lucky he got drafted when he did.
I got two that come to mind.
Okay.
If Chris Paul had been drafted by the Jazz in 2005 under Jerry Sloan instead of the Hornets, instead of Deron Williams, that's a whole nother team, man. That's a completely different team. Maybe he wins a title in the West with Jerry as his coach. Certainly he was able to bring Stockton to 2 finals.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a rebirth there with Sloan. That's a possibility as well. And he got, he was just right. I mean, how do you take Deron Williams over Chris Paul? That's one of those biggest ones in my eye. I mean, Deron was good for 3 years, but Paul is a quintessential.
Well, he was good longer than that
all-star.
because he managed to get himself a supermax from New Jersey. Now, I didn't think he was worth it when he signed it, but
True.
it's to have NBA execs saying he is a top tier. And there was a discussion leading into that draft, point guard, which to me, I watched Illinois' game, so I was never really blown away with Williams.
Yeah.
Because D. Brown, I think it was D. Brown, was the focus of that team.
Yep.
And, but I mean, they were solid, but it would have changed Utah's fortunes for sure. I mean, it's evidenced by Chris Paul managed to bring the New Orleans Hornets into the playoffs. It was him, and Tyson Chandler, and a few other guys, but he was the focus as a young kid. So, yeah, I mean, but he's still a superstar.
True. Very true. But he's never smelled the finals. And I think Sloan would have taken him to the finals possibly. It was a better situation than he had with the fucking Hornets.
It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out because, this postseason could change a lot of guys' legacies in that what if one team gets COVID and it clears the way for one that nobody anticipated?
Yeah.
Which I hope does not happen because as much as injuries are part of the game, this is just an anomalous factor that could end up really changing the landscape of the league. But
I think one that always comes to mind to me is because he's my favorite basketball player this side of Michael Jordan. And not favorite like greatest of all time, but he was my favorite basketball player to watch ever is Chris Webber. Well, I absolutely have a terrible love and obsession with Chris Webber as a ball player. I've never seen a body more perfectly built to play the game. And his being drafted by the Magic, if he had stayed with the Magic and Shaq, I don't know what could have happened there. And of course, initially you think, well, totally worked out. Penny had a great situation, but Weber went into that TMC or Weber went into the Warriors with Don Nelson, and it was a big old, just didn't work. An old school hard knocks coach like Nelson with a young kid like Weber who was extremely sensitive. It just was a bad combo and it blew up. And so for the rest of his career, he had that reputation as kind of a malcontent or a difficult to get along with kind of guy. And it wasn't until he got to Sacramento that he got reborn or rebirthed, and people started to appreciate him again as a player, but still couldn't get the job done in that Game 7 against the Lakers. But he's an incredible analyst. He's great when he's talking about basketball, when you watch him cover the games. I like it. He's not as good as Reggie. I think Reggie's one of the best players to talk about the game. But I think Weber does a damn good job in the playoffs and what have you. But if he'd been with Orlando and Shaq, maybe they recruit a point guard and it's freaking lights out, man. That could have been an incredible team.
Yeah, for sure. It would have. Shaq, though, lobbied for Penny. He
did. He's right. He did.
But fans were like, holy shit, Chris Webber coupled with, who's one currently that I could end up feeling bad for as well is Brad Beal.
Oh, yeah. For Washington. Yeah.
Because he has shown I am now a top 10 to 15 talent in this league. Again, think about it. I don't know if he's quite top 10, but the dude could carry a team, and he's going to be saddled with maybe Wall comes back and he's awesome, but between him and Durant is Wall's game is predicated upon speed, and he blew out his Achilles, and that is going to affect him. So now you have 40 million some odd.
Right.
Or maybe in the next CBA, they negotiate another amnesty where so they could get rid of one of these huge contracts and rebuild, because otherwise Beal's going to waste his prime.
Yeah.
Fill anybody around him of any, like, are they going to pay Davis Bertans the 70 some odd million he's going to get in free agency?
Yeah.
Can they afford that? I'd have to look at their cap situation, but the cap is about to go down, and they're going to have to change all the mechanics of that too. Yeah. So it sucks because Brad Beal's legit.
Yeah. So good. I feel so bad because I want him out of there because I want him to be in a better situation than he's enduring here, with the Wizards. I mean, I feel bad for him, man, because he's such a good and people were all about, like, initially they loved John Wall, the Wizards fans, and Beal they felt was like, oh, he's kind of getting injured. He's not, he's causing friction. And now we see that as this has gone on, it's Beal that's really the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah, the long term, who was the actual superstar is Beal, because he's got a more filled out game. He can score from more places on the floor.
Yep.
At least for me as a non-Wizards fan.
Yeah.
Beal always had what seemed like a bit of confidence and a bit of arrogance, which you kind of need.
Yeah.
Years ago, I remember him confidently saying, like, I think John Wall and I are the best backcourt in the league. Is now, whoa, this is 3 years ago. And you're like, there's no fucking way. But now, if you had Wall at full health plus Beal where he's at now, you could make that. We'll see. I for your guys' sake, because I like Wall, I like Beal. I hope you keep Davis Bertans. That team turns really interesting real quick.
Yeah.
It's good.
Here's another one for you to consider, Matt. Damian Lillard. He's done well in Portland, but he was picked right before Harrison Barnes for Golden State. So if Lillard drops to 7, if he goes to Golden State, kid's a champion.
Does he become Lillard? Because Barnes filled a need for them, which was before, whereas Lillard has now shown as being the alpha on his team.
Do we have Steph? Is Steph even a part of that team at the time?
Well,
right?
Steph should have gotten drafted by Minnesota, who took Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn. Johnny Flynn was out of the fucking league within 3 years. They took 2 the first round and passed on Steph Curry. Had they taken him with one of the picks, think where Minnesota be right now. You do that shit all year long.
That's true.
What if this franchise had taken this guy instead? Yeah. Portland, you should have taken Jordan.
Yeah. Right.
Houston, you probably should have taken Jordan, but you got Elijah won 2 championships. So it's hard to argue if you want to with that one.
Portland twice, right? Because they could have taken Kevin Durant.
Instead of Greg Oden.
Yeah.
You can do the draft what if all day long.
Yeah, you could spend 24 hours on that.
You can. It's just
those used to be my favorite Simmons articles when he'd break down, like, who could have been drafted into what as legacy stuff.
He's catching a lot of flack as of late.
Oh, yeah, Jesus. Yeah, isn't he ever? That's Bill for you, though. All right. We have one more. Yes. You want to do one more?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Go ahead, man. I think you're the one.
This one is from Philip Hunt.
Who?
Hey, Matt and John. Philip here again. Really excited with the announcements and glad to see the top 10 train keep rising to new heights. Just to let you know that I'm going to win this Jeopardy tournament or I'll just crash and burn. scenario.
I love it.
It's good for you. You know, you either know it or you don't. That's how I play the game. Let's party. My question is related to a generational conflict. I just listened again to the Cinephiles episode of the film The Graduate. John, you and Steve talked about how there's a practical generation and an idealistic generation, and that one needed the other in order for our society to continue.
Oof.
The question is, with the protests going on across the world, do you think this next generation, my generation Z, are the practical generation, and we're taking ideas from the millennial generation, which was very idealistic? Or do you think that our generation will become like the boomer generation that started off marching and seemed idealistic, but turned into a more practical generation with people like Bill Clinton and Tony Blair?
Damn.
Big question. Thanks for giving us great content. I just started my first year of college, and it definitely has helped, or pardon me, definitely has been hard with the world going nuts. Yeah, I can only imagine. Thanks, Philip, or potentially Philippe, but let's hear it.
That's a great question, man. A really nice, in-depth question. To end on that question, but a damn good question.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think that generation, like the generation that is protesting now, will more than likely, by a certain percentage, shift just like boomers do, because most people shift slowly conservative the older they get. It's a natural progression within life. So it's not, I think to be more anomalous if the baby boomers had managed to stay radicals throughout the entire duration of their lives. A quote that I heard when I was young, and to some degree I think it's true, is if you're not a Democrat, basically you're a Democrat when you're young, and you're a Republican or a conservative rather when you're old.
Right.
And there's a certain ring of truth in that. Although I do like the mirror that he's saying of this generation is a reaction to the previous, because I think that's true.
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel like this generation protesting is completely different than the generation from before. I think the generation in the 60s that did the protesting and stuff, this was them discovering what power people had to enact change through their civil protest. This generation knows what power they have. They are not discovering it. They know it. And there's a sense of a battering ram sensibility to them. And you can see the changes that are happening in such rapid succession are quicker than any of the changes that happened in the 60s. Immediately, like people, you see now today, even today as we're recording this, like all these people came out yesterday and this morning saying like, oh, I'm not going to voice over black characters or characters of color. These white artists are saying
Jenny
that.
Slate.
Yeah, Jenny Slate said that all of a sudden, they figured it out. And I have my skepticism on that it's a bit of brand saving, but whatever. It's still, if they want to do it, they have every right to do it. Kristen Bell saying she doesn't want to voice that multi-ethnic character on Central Park 5. So I respect that. All that kind of, if you want to do it, fine. If you want to make a stand about it, fine. It's your right to make a stand about it. But I'm seeing, George Preston Marshall, the Redskins' first owner, who was racist as fuck, where they took down his statue. They took his name off the Ring of Honor. And I never thought I'd see that. And we all knew he was racist for decades. If you grew up in that city, what a raging racist that a-hole was.
Marge Schott.
Yeah, Marge Schott. Right.
When I was a kid, I knew how racist she was.
Right.
And I heard some quotes, and I'm like, holy shit.
The second she starts saying Hitler wasn't so bad for Germany, you're like, what's wrong with you?
She called Eric Davis her $1 million you-know-what.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's a quote. That's a quote you can find in a fucking article.
Yeah.
Marge Schott was a terrible. I think that the voiceover thing to me is, I understand why people make the push, but at the same time, like, it's about the voice.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, if it's something like, say, on the Boondocks, I think that was the name of the show. I never watched it.
Yeah, the Boondocks.
If like the most iconic character from that was a white guy, I can understand people saying, because to me that is such the cultural identity is baked into what the show is about. Like I've read some of the strips and all that jazz, but I've never sat down and watched the season type thing.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense to me. But I think it's the best voice. Like you're a guy that did voiceover.
Yeah.
The guys that can create a character, like I just as you've seen those documentaries and the TV shows and whatnot about the voiceover, like I know that guy or I know that voice. There's one like that. John DiMaggio produced one, and they're super interesting. But it's the people that can create something out of nothing. Like there are clips on YouTube that you can go on where they take a voice actor, and it's on GQ or something, and they just give them pictures they've never seen before, and they have to out and create a character while the camera is rolling.
Right.
And you see the artistry within it. And that to me is what about James Earl Jones, as some people pointed out with Darth Vader?
Right.
There's, Anakin Skywalker's a white dude. I don't care. His voice is the only voice that matters.
Yeah.
Or like Hugo Weaving in V for Vendetta. That voice makes the character.
Yes. Yes. But, for me, as a person of color coming into voiceover, I was always like, no way should a person of color be voiced over by a white person. I was always of that because there are so many opportunities for white people to voice white characters because animation is predominantly white characters, overwhelmingly so. And video games as well, overwhelming. Name me the last video game. Name me 10 video games that had a person of color as their lead. 10 uber successful video games that a person, it's almost impossible. You could never name 10. It's not possible. And so it's like, that's so to me, I always bristled at it. So to me, this stuff they're doing now is stuff they should have already thought about before they took the role. It shouldn't be all of a sudden, this seems like a bad thing.
I was literally trying to think of one that doesn't. I'm sitting here going, there's got even a blue character. I started thinking colors.
Yeah.
Just pick a fucking alien. I don't think that often though. So,
but it frustrates me, Matt, because these are, Kristen Bell is no stranger to progressive liberal issues and being outspoken about that kind of shit. To all of a sudden have a crisis of conscience, it seems convenient. And Jenny Slate as well. All these liberals that are very powerful about their voices and their platform and pushing social issues, to all of a sudden look at their career and be like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be doing. Like Tina Fey is getting raked over the coals now for those blackface characters that she's put in 30 Rock and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, Kimmel as well. He had to come out and apologize. Fallon.
Yeah, but it's one of those of that helped Kimmel become famous. Like this was long known. It's not like that was a secret in his past. I think he did Karl Malone on radio before he ever did it on The Man Show. Right.
And then he did Oprah Winfrey and a couple other people. So, I mean, to me, that's what it is at the end of the day. It's like this feels like a lot of brand saving versus actual authentic change. But that being said, studios are listening for the first time for real, not window dressing listening. They're listening. Sure. And you're seeing states starting to listen now. I mean, the Southeastern Conference Championship Commission or Southeastern Conference Commissioner said, we will no longer hold any championship games in Mississippi if you don't take that Confederate flag symbol off your flag, your state flag. That's a powerful statement from the Southeastern Conference. They have no reason at all to do that because there's enough people that support them doing Confederate flags on anything. NASCAR.
You don't think that was the case of everybody in the SEC going, hey, where's the last state that we want to go to in this?
I don't know. I've never been in Mississippi. I don't know.
I've been in Mississippi. It's fine. That's the best. That's the most praise I can give it. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. But I think this generation is very much going to enact the change we want to see. Now, can they overthrow Trump essentially in November? That's the real change. If they show up at the ballot box and fight to get their votes in, fight to overcome that kind of stuff, then for real, they can make actual change, lifelong change, systemic change. I believe they have that power. I think they sense they have that power, which is why they have the audacity in some people's opinions, but also the balls or the guts rather to yank down statues of racists, yank down statues of his people who are historically terrible to Native Americans and to black people, and all of that. So to me, that's incredible what they're doing. And that shows that they have that combination of sense of entitlement and also drive to make change, legitimate change. And it's not going to be old people out there. It's the young people that have to make the change because the old people are tired and they have to work their jobs and they have to provide for their family, pay their mortgage.
It's like changing the name of Fort Bragg It's named after a
Right.
figure, but people have just gotten used to hearing that name for so long that they didn't know that it was based after or based on. It's like, I don't know, it's always been Fort Bragg. Is it really that big a deal type of thing?
Right.
Well, yeah, it is. We're honoring treason.
Yeah.
In essence, with every one of those statues and the naming of every base, we're honoring someone who committed treason on our country.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we viewed it. That's the only way we would allow them back into this.
Yeah.
You were not a foreign entity. You were a rebel alliance.
Yeah.
And we will return you to the bosom of the United States. As you are willing to admit those things and we are going to institute. It sucks to be a loser. It's just, as you won, you get to dictate terms.
That's true. That's how it is. The victor goes to spoils.
Exactly. The victor history.
Yeah.
So it has always been that way, but it's just like these guys did commit treason against the country as a whole.
Yeah, true.
They tried to secede and break off. I don't think we need to honor that.
I don't disagree with you.
I think you are right in that if Biden does become elected, then it legitimizes all these people making the initial steps of trying to get rid of, and it only emboldens. Whereas if he wins, then I would guess quite a few of these go away. Maybe they do go back to Mississippi and play a game.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because the tenor and voice of the nation has changed ever so slightly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Weird way to end this show, I'll tell you that.
That's right. That's our last one. Thank you to every one of the patrons who sent in a question. We love doing the show. And like I said, these questions have been incredible. And that was a great last question. And I'm very, very well thought out, Philip. I mean, you're a young guy coming into your first year of college. That was a well-phrased question, well-asked question with historical perspective. And so I have nothing but hope for people like you who are young going into college and hopefully enacting some change or getting into some field that will change the world. So thank you so much. So thank you for listening to us on the Top 10, letting us, our shits and giggles, entertain you as you go in to do serious things in the world.
And stay tuned. So, we'll have that new show coming out for you guys. We're working on now, trying to get everybody's schedules in. But to everybody that jumped on and wants to play a little Top 10 Jeopardy for a chance to win a guest shot on the show that we're looking forward to, it should be starting up in the very near future. If you haven't gotten an email yet about scheduling, you would have by the time you hear this. But check your email accounts. We have reached out to everybody that's going to participate. And thanks everybody that supports us here on this and on that show and everything else that we do over at patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. It genuinely means the world to us that you guys turn to us for your entertainment during this weird world, and we can't thank you enough. And to close out, you can just follow me anywhere at Matt Nost.
Yeah, you can follow me at The Roca Says on Twitter and on Instagram. You guys know on the YouTube channel as well, but also sign up to our YouTube channel. Some of you might be watching us on the YouTube channel, and this one, or definitely all our main shows are on that YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe there as well for all the things we drop on there. All right, that's it. Thank you all so much. We'll talk to you next time on another brand new episode of Topic
Thunder.